By 1966, the pirate stations around our coasts were attracting combined audiences of 25 million listeners. British advertising agencies were spending millions of pounds of their clients' money on advertising and sponsorship. There's an old saying, if you can't tax it, ban it. And that's exactly what the government of the day decided to do. Radio London looked closely at the legal implications.
Well, we don't think the government would seize us. You see, the operation of Radio London is legal in every way. It is quite legal to broadcast from the high seas. In fact, the first illegal action would be just that, if a government decided to seize a ship that was at sea and behaving in a legal manner.
There was much debate on TV and in Parliament, but the government were determined.
I don't think it's an inconvenient bill, because I don't think that if people knew and understood the truth about the pirates, they'd like them very much. What are they doing? They're stealing the copyright and paying no money for it. They're playing records that musicians have recorded and giving them no money for it. They're endangering the ship-to-shore radio, and there's a real risk that distress at sea might not be reported because of the inadequate fumbling handling of equipment. The pirates are a menace, and I don't believe at all that the public wouldn't support action to enforce the law in the interests of all these people whom I've mentioned, quite aside from interference in other countries.
But Radio Caroline saw things differently. They acted defiantly, closing down their London offices and moving their headquarters to Amsterdam in Holland.
British companies prohibited from advertising from England. You have to set it up on an international basis, which we have done. And Caroline could now be called Caroline International. As you know, we cover Ireland, the Isle of Man, England and Holland. So it's a big, for any international company, it's the biggest radio station in the world, in fact. It's got 25 million listeners now.
Johnny Walker and Robbie Dale would be the first British DJs to defy the law.
Well, this is the only answer as far as the company's concerned. You see, they're in a situation where they employ us, we get thrown into jail and fined. They can employ Americans, Chinese communists, any odd bod from anywhere, in fact, and it's quite safe. The government have got no qualm about that at all, you know. But if they employ an Englishman to broadcast to the English, then it's illegal, I'm afraid, you know.
On August the 14th, 1967, all other stations around our shores closed down except for Radio Caroline. But it was a different story on the Isle of Man. Radio Caroline North would continue as the island's government were not supportive of a law imposed on them from Whitehall.
Home Office is going ahead with its intention of imposing what we regard as domestic legislation on the island against the wishes of the island government.
Does that mean that Radio Caroline will be banned by order in council in the next few days?
Yes.
Now, what's your reaction going to be?
Our reaction is that this is an absolutely undemocratic step on the part of Her Majesty's government.
What are you going to do next?
Stay their hand until what I would regard as an appeal has been considered.
Well, it's obvious that they're not, from what you're saying.
They're not going to do so.
So what do you think is likely to happen?
I think it's likely that we will await their appeal nevertheless, because we are, shall I say, a law-abiding community.
Following an order in council, the law applied to the island on the 1st of September 1967.